Good morning. It's so lovely to see so many people here today. I want to just say happy homecoming week. For those of you who are freshmen or our guests who are joining us today, we hope that this is a memorable week for you. Our 2023 Young Alumnus of the Year is Malik Dare. Malik earned his Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Wesleyan in 2018. As a student, Malik was a four-year varsity men's basketball player, receiving the Most Improved Player his freshman and sophomore year. He was an active member of Enactus, Elevate program coach, and was the winner of the School Business Ethics Scholarship Competition for his integrity and trustworthiness. Currently, Malik works as a senior budget analyst for the New York State Senate. His area of focus is higher education and arts, and serves as a representative of the Senate to work with our SUNY, CUNY, and private independent colleges and local nonprofit cultural centers to secure state funding and expand services across the state. Most importantly, Malik serves as an esteemed community leader and activist in Albany, New York. Malik hosts social justice webinars, food drives, back-to-school drives, and mentors inner-city youth in his hometown. He has received a multitude of merited awards for his leadership and is often described as humble, coachable, a hard worker with a tremendous amount of integrity. Thank you. The Alum of the Year award is given out to an alumna or an alumnus each year who is supportive of the institution in an observable manner by upholding its ideals and objectives. These alumni are set apart by servant leadership, transformational generosity, and commitment to serving the Lord. The 2023 Alumna of the Year is Lauren Kolb. Lauren Kolb earned her Bachelor of Science in Organizational Management and a Master's of Science in Strategic Leadership from Roberts. Lauren works as the Senior Vice President and Senior Wealth Advisor for Tompkins Financial Advisors. She is responsible for managing existing client relationships and contributing to the overall growth of Tompkins Financial Corporation. As a client-focused advisor, she works closely with high-net individuals, families, corporations, community organizations as a financial partner, delivering all aspects of wealth management. As an adult student, Lauren worked full-time while completing both of her degrees, and has been described by her faculty as having an impressive work ethic, positive attitude, fantastic sense of humor, and always adding value whenever she speaks. As a founding member of the School of Business National Council, Lauren has been described as a highly engaged, supportive business council member who excels in the areas of strategic thinking and sustainability. She actively promotes our adult and graduate programs and is often the first to respond to any request to support the work of the university and the School of Business. The Distinguished Alum Award recognizes a graduate of Northeastern Seminary who exemplifies faithful service and ministry. This year's Northeastern Seminary Distinguished Alum of the Year is Scott Austin. Scott Austin is a graduate of both Roberts and the seminary, having earned his Bachelor of Arts in Contemporary Ministries from Roberts and his Master's in Divinity from Northeastern Seminary. Scott is receiving his Master of Science in Mental Health Counseling from SUNY Brockport this December. As a Roberts student, Scott served in the Wind Ensemble as a writer for The Beacon, participated in intramurals, Bible studies, and was involved in student government. He currently serves as senior pastor of Artisan Church in Rochester, New York, which he co-founded with 3 other NES grads back in 2005. Their foundational values of awe, beauty, roots, community, and justice continue to shape their community life to this day. The interplay between ancient faith and contemporary application that he learned at NES is deeply embedded in the institutional DNA. Scott has served on the NES Clergy Council, he's been a guest speaker in chapel, and has participated in panel discussions for alumni on topics like reconciling race and religion. He's currently serving as a counselor in the Wellness Center as a part of his degree in mental health counseling. Congratulations to all of our Alumni Award winners. At this time, yes.
Thank you for your patience. Good morning. This is an amazing chapel to be in because as a student now, you get to learn about your family. You know, we have this connected family throughout the generations. And as our present students here at Roberts and NES, you're on your journey, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. You're navigating new changes, trying to figure out what you're going to do. It's always good to hear from those who have made that journey. And so this morning, you're going to have an opportunity to glean what I call some nuggets, some nuggets of wisdom to help you on your journey. But that also depends on how well you listen. And so I want to encourage you to listen, because there may be something that is said that God might cause to just prick your heart, be like, oh yeah, I need that now. And then some stuff, maybe God will bring it back to your remembrance a few years later when you need it most on your journey. Our theme for this semester has been abiding joy. And we've been talking about that joy is not, is different from happiness, you know. Happiness is kind of dependent on your circumstance, what you're going through. But joy is a state that helps us because it grounds us in the fact that we are connected to God, that we have hope for the future. And so no matter what we're experiencing presently, we can have that joy that enables us to make it through, to endure whatever it is that we're facing. And so our three guests this morning, well, sorry, you're not guests, you're at home, right? So these three family members with us, we have pictures that represent a time that captures a moment when they were joyful. And so, Lauren, I'm going to start with you on that end. Can you tell us what's happening in that joyful picture right there?
So much is happening in that picture. Good morning, everybody. It's an honor and privilege to be here today with all of you and to be back home. That picture was taken by myself in an effort to put on a full-fledged launch of a passion project that I was working on, actually to be launched here at Roberts Wesleyan. I was filled with so much joy in the thought of doing so, in the thought of capturing and articulating opportunities to share with other people how the mind-body connection can help us in our everyday life, that I started just laughing and smiling. And instead of posing, this one was kind of a mistake, and it just kind of snapped. And it wound up being one of the covers for that passion project, and it was because of the joy that was felt out of giving that knowledge and sharing that spirit with others.
Awesome, thank you. Also, the next photo is of Crystal, and Crystal is not with us today. She was in a car accident. She is well. Everyone is fine. But she was unable to be with us. So if you can remember, let's keep her in prayer, her and her family, as they just recover from that accident. All right, next up is Malik. Malik, let's tell us why that photo captures a moment of joy for you.
Well, in the picture, I don't look that happy, but I promise you I am. That picture was, I think, 2021. I just received, we went out, it was a dinner, celebratory dinner for me receiving my new job. And it was pretty profound because at my previous job, I felt stuck. I was promised promotions, got passed up, and a bunch of stuff. And I felt like, what's next for me? And then when I least expected it, someone reached out, a former colleague, and said, hey, I saw this position. I think it'd be great for you. I applied, didn't think much of it. And then within 2 weeks, they offered me the job. And then we went out to dinner to celebrate.
Thank you. Important capture there. Thank you. Scott, I see the guitar. Tell us about that.
I built that guitar, actually, yeah. So one of the things I managed to do in all of the spare time that I have is to stay active in the local music scene in Rochester. And this photo was taken a month or so ago at a performance that my band did to celebrate the release of an album that we finally had finished. And it's songs that I had been writing since before the pandemic. And obviously the work on that material was put on hold when we had to stop rehearsing and everything like that. So this is me at a moment of like years and years of work on a passion project finally coming to fruition. And I think in that moment I had just forgotten some of the words that I wrote, and people were very kind about that in that moment, so I was enjoying that. So.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. Now, you all are where you are today, but you didn't start off there. I'm curious to know, what were your childhood dreams? Like, what did you want to be when you were growing up? Let's start with Malik this time.
So, growing up, I was a basketball player. I wanted to be in the NBA, but when I received no Division I scholarships, I kind of realized that wasn't going to happen. But then I came to Roberts, and through the business classes with professors like Dr. Carey and Irv Starr, they showed me there was more to life than basketball, and I found new interests, new hobbies, and I stuck with basketball. Obviously, I played 4 years, but I started finding new interests and devoting some time into other areas, and that kind of led me to different internships, meeting with different people, mentorships, and kind of led me to where I am today.
Awesome. Thank you. Scott, how about you? What was that childhood dream?
I wanted to be a professional baseball player, but when I got cut from the team in 9th grade, I realized that dream had died. I learned it a little bit earlier than you. I think one of the things that I wanted to be was a musician. I remember as a kid in elementary school seeing the high school jazz band perform, and a saxophone player stood up and started to blow this solo, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And I sort of struggled with this tension even as I grew older and got ready to head off to college. Actually, the reason that I ended up at Roberts was because it allowed me to pursue both a ministry calling and the chance to do some music as well, because my degree had an option to have a concentration in music. So I'm realizing as I say this that part of that dream might have actually come true for me, which is pretty cool.
Sweet. Thank you. Lauren, how about you?
What didn't I want to be? That was a hard thing to drill down, but I think my first recollection was I just wanted to sing and dance for the rest of my life. You know, so I was found on a step stool dialing a rotary phone, for whomever remembers what a rotary phone is or looks like or sounds like. I was found as a child wanting to call up the local dance studio because of commercials I saw on TV, and that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wound up having that blessed experience. I've often said I have been what I wanted to be when I grew up until I went to Roberts. I got a degree in character and confidence that I didn't know was possible. And so my beloved husband, when I was making a very difficult transition from the performing arts industry to the world of finance, which was seamless. Of course, I'm sure you all are just thinking that was really, really cool and easy. But no, it was coming here and being supported and life experience meant something. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the whole entire universe. The life that I had led meant something to the life that was before me. And that's what I got here.
Awesome. I appreciate that so much. Now, these beautiful students out here who are going to change the world, impact the world in various ways, some of them know their major, some of them may be wrestling with changing, or some maybe haven't even decided yet. What was it like for you as an undergrad student trying to pick your major? Did you know it right off the bat? Did you stick with it, or did you change? Scott, I'll give that one to you first.
Yeah, I did stick with it. I was fortunate enough to find something on the first try that seemed to work for me, and but I guess I would stress that that's just one version of a story, you know.
Yeah.
My sister, who also is in the Athletics Hall of Fame here at Roberts, by the way,
runs in the family, huh?
changed her major, I think, twice, and then she went into something different after she graduated, and she's doing amazing stuff in the world. So if you feel like you don't know just yet, don't fret. It's okay.
Thank you. Lauren, how about you?
Well, I came in as adult learner, which was very frightening. It had been 18 years since I had been in a classroom. I went to college for a minute or maybe 4. Can't really remember during my traditional years. I just wanted to work. I wanted to go out. I wanted to express myself the way that my spirit was calling me to do so. And so once that career had really come to a screeching halt, I needed to understand what was left of me in order to pursue a future of any kind in a manner that my body could sustain, right? After all those years of performing and singing and dancing for a living took its toll. So when I came to Roberts, my husband, who is also an alum, he shared with me this really amazing accelerated program for adult students who had a hankering to dig back in and to pursue a life of not only spiritual growth, but also what it might do for oneself in the meantime. So that was a program called organizational management. And we were really, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know that there are a lot of folks here that know more than I, but we were really on the leading edge of that in our surrounding areas. And many colleges thereafter took that template and pursued it in their own arenas. And we were very pleased to share that knowledge because it made such a difference for folks like me who was what they wanted to be when they grew up, and then, gosh, all of a sudden hit with the reality of, gosh, gotta make a living doing something else, you know, gotta bring home some bacon, right? Gotta do some things and make some more money. Yeah. And I was able to meet all these wonderful folks and continue and pursue my master's here as well.
That kind of change that you had to make, did you experience any discouragement?
Oh, it was flawless. It was flawless. I mean, I remember the time that the talented, artistic, and scientific minds of Roberts gave me. I remember one time, Dr. Joe McCarthy, I don't know if he's here today, but I remember calling him and leaving him a voicemail to let him know that I had sent him a text message, which was alerting him to the email that I had sent him about a question that I had about one of my projects. So that was the experience that I brought to the table, this hyper-obsessive vigilance of wanting to make sure I was doing everything right. Because, you know, I was an adult, you know, it was different. And I seemingly had more capabilities than that 4 minutes that I spent at Buffalo State University. Yeah. But yeah, that was an amazing process to trust. And if I may jump ahead, and it's just kind of coming through, that would be one of those nuggets that I would want and hope and pray that you could take away today, is trusting this process. You know, we hear about that in the Buffalo Bills a lot. And we take that, as fans, we take that to heart. We have to trust the process, but I wish I would have trusted it a little bit more. But you know, that's just where I was at that time, and thank goodness that I had all these people that helped me along that path.
Thank you, great. Bills fans, that's the nugget. Trust the process. Malik, how about you? Did you know your major coming in? Did you change? What was that like for you?
So 2 things. At first, I just wanted to play basketball, so I just heard business, was like, I'll do business. But then I realized a lot of people in my family are entrepreneurs. The courses were pretty interesting. The professors were great. And I never thought about switching once, and I stuck with it all 4 years.
That's good. So I hear, you know, your journeys, and I want to thank you so much for sharing them. But there's a lot of understanding things about yourself, that who you are at one period of your life is not the final word. but life is a process, and you can grow, you can change. You're not stuck at one spot. And I think it's important for us to remember that who we are right now in this moment, what we know of ourselves, that might not be the case 5 years from now, but that doesn't mean that life is over, life is done. But I'm so intrigued, and I know that there are many people that have that dream of being an NBA player or some type of sports figure, but the realization that, okay, I'm not going to be that. There may be a little sorrow at that. Of course, you cry some tears like, oh, it's not working out. But I think of the wonderful things that you're doing today. Like, I think that's awesome. And so I want to ask you this question, Malik. Who were the people that showed you there was more to you than what you knew?
Well, first, I want to go back to what you said about people, you being one thing in one part in life and then going back to the other. I'm sure, I don't want to take full responsibility, but I think I was such a headache to Coach McCoy. He retired right after I left. So I'm sure it's tough for him to sit up here and see me doing all these things, and I gave him so many problems in practice and all that. But I think that really helped shape me. Just even sitting here today, like we would have mandatory team chapel, no phones, be on time, everyone stand up, participate. And if that wasn't the case, we were running all practice. And at the time, we hated that, but it kind of builds character, shows respect, and just helps you be present. Just little things like that, always being on time. They required us to go to a lot of community and school events that I probably otherwise wouldn't go to. And then, it's like, oh, I got to study, or I'm tired from practice. And then you go, and you're like, wow, I'm glad I went. I met so-and-so, or I learned this. And so.
Yeah, thank you. Coach McCoy, was he that rough?
Yeah.
All right. Scott, how about you? Who were the people in your corner that really allowed you to flourish or cheered you on?
Well, I feel, as far as cheering me on, I feel very fortunate to have a loving family. My parents and grandparents were all very supportive of things I was doing. But when I was here, the faculty in the religion and philosophy and ministry departments were amazing. I don't know if you know this, but there is nobody in the world who is more insufferable than an 18-year-old white male going into Christian ministry. This type of person thinks that he knows everything. And the faculty, looking back, must have had divinely given patience with me. And what they did not do was scold me or try to correct me, but what they did do was present an education and a formation that allowed me to slowly come to realize more about myself and more about the world and more about God. And I would in no way be the person or pastor that I am today if it wasn't for people like them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Pastor G, can I comment?
Yes, please.
I was the opposite, Scott. I was the person that walked in thinking that I certainly knowing that I certainly didn't know anything, and gosh, I don't even know if I ever will. And there's the other side of that spectrum that's not balanced, right? And so coming up, even trying to fill that mind glass of water to be half full and not half empty was a very, very unique challenge that I go through to this day. But knowing thyself, and Daphne and I have talked about this for years, to know thyself is really the beginning of wisdom. I think Socrates said that. But to know thyself is where I started to understand safety and security and worth and deservingness. And those things I had never really felt before. People like the angels in my life, my husband, who just would not tolerate anything other than self-love within the environment, was foreign to me. Yeah. And so that's what this environment provided, was this safety net of understanding that it's going to take time, but by gosh, is it worth it? Yeah. And that's what the faculty does here at Roberts.
Really quick, 15 seconds. if you could leave a message for each of these students, what is something that you would want them to know?
Well, I'll tell you the message I would have given to myself in their
Yes,
shoes.
perfect.
They're probably way more advanced than I was.
Yep.
I would have told myself to chill out a little bit. That just chill out. It's going to be okay. You don't have to know everything. Not everything has to be figured out. Just allow things to unfold a little bit.
All right, Malik.
This might sound cliche, but don't take it for granted. It goes by fast. Your friends here now, when you guys graduate, they all go back to different areas, their homes, and you might only see each other at weddings or birthday parties or baby showers, but we're used to seeing them at Garlock every day or in class or at practice, so just enjoy it and cherish it.
Yes, Lauren.
I would say break bread together. I was part of a cohort that we were able to do that on Monday nights because we were hungry, and they gave us time to do so while we were coming from work. Break bread together. You find out a lot about one another. It's a joyful experience. It's a chance for you to let your hair down and open up your heart and your mind and meet new people and learn about them as well. And again, another opportunity to learn about yourself.
Thank you all. Will you please give our family members a round of applause here? Thank you. Listen, you guys, be blessed. Have a great day. And give yourself grace. Love you, and we'll see you around campus.